What's going on, guys? This is Damien from The Lookout, and I am here with how to play green Boujack, the newest green tier 1 deck. Boujack is insane. Boujack is one of the best decks that I have seen in a long while. Like this thing, don't sleep on Boujack. But guys, if you don't believe me, you can play Boujack today and every other Friday at 8 PM Central European Time at our locals on our Discord. Free entry, proxy legal, open to all regions. Just drop by, have fun, and try out the newest decks. And of course, a huge shout out to the Coffee Club, our lovely patrons. These are our $2 and up patrons. They buy us coffee. They keep this crazy content grind going. And guys, thanks a lot for your support. If you wish to join the Coffee Club, link to a patron is in the description below. And I think that's about everything. Roll the video! As with all of our videos, let's start with the breakdown. So in this video, I'm gonna give you a brief archetype breakdown. I'll show you some lines of play, interactions. I'll show you my deck list. We'll go over the first 2 turns to help you set up, and then we'll just wrap it up with a summary. Let's go! Let's start with our leader. On the front side is Boujack Brigade, 10k green, and guys, this is a very good front side. This is one of the better front sides that I have seen. Why? He gets to draw on attack, and he also has a tutor as activate main. So doesn't matter whether or not you go first or second, you always get to do something. And then on your awakening turn, you get to both swing, draw, and tutor, and then awaken, and get benefits from the awakened side. Like this is insane. Activate main once per turn. Place 1 green Boujack Brigade card from your hand face up in your Z deck. Look at top 5 cards from the top of your deck. Add up to 1 green Boujack Brigade card to your hand, and then you shuffle the deck. So yeah, you will be placing these cards face up just to tutor and then to get some extra effects later once your leader awakens. And you will always awaken on turn 2, which is the standard. On the awakened side is Boujack crashing the tournament. More like Boujack crashing the meta. Wow. Okay, let's start. Auto. Once per turn, when your green Boujack Brigade card is played, you draw 1. So immediately you draw both turns. Amazing. Auto. Once per turn, place 3 face-up Boujack Brigade cards from your Z-deck into your drop. So 3 from the Z-deck going to the drop. When this card attacks, switch it to active mode and give it plus 10k for the battle. So it's 25k dual attacker. 25 on the first attack, 15 on the second one. And he also has the ability to KO a card and give himself plus 10k on your opponent's turn as activate battle, which is just a free plus 10k. So for 1 attack is 25k base. Like Boujack is... yeah, so Boujack is insane, but it's not just the leader. Let's take a look at some other cards which combined with the leader make this one go from like rogue to meta. The first one of these cards is the Z Unison. So 1 energy 9k. Permanent. If you have a Boujack Brigade card in play, your opponent can't attack this card. Amazing protection on the Unison. Nice. Then, the only effect which matters. Plus 1 activate main. You may KO one of your mono green Boujack Brigade cards. If you do, draw 1 card. That's the only thing that matters. The -3 is cute. It's basically if your leader is green, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier and KO it. But you have so much barrier removal in green, it doesn't really matter. I don't expect that you will actually use it. But the +1 is gonna play a massive role in our gameplay going forward. Now for the best card in the deck. Time for the slaughter to begin. The Z Extra. Auto doesn't really matter. Like, auto is just like... when one of your Boujack Brigade cards is KO'd by your skill, you put it in the Z deck face up. Whatever. The idea is that it just fuels your leader's ability. And you may put it. You don't need to put it. First, you get like the Z card, right? The Z deck thing. It's not Z energy. I wrote this wrong. Who gives a shit? Let's just look at the main abilities. Activate main. Once per turn, if your leader is a green Boujack Brigade, play up to one green Boujack Brigade card with an energy cost of 1 from your hand in rest mode. Keep it in mind, it's not limit once, it's not limit 1, it's once per turn, and it doesn't play the card with its effects negated. And finally, as the second activate main, you can remove this card from the game to play a 1-drop from the drop, also without its skills negated. Now, if you don't know where I'm going with this, let me show you just how absurd this thing actually is. Here we go, and a huge shout out to Jeeples who showed me this amazing interaction. So, start. Charge 1, draw 1. Use the Z Extras activate main, the first one, to play a 1-drop. You play this one which draws you a card. You draw 1. Then your leader's auto triggers because you've played a Boujack Brigade card, you draw 1. Then you use your Unison's +1 ability to KO a Boujack Brigade card and draw a card. So you do this, you draw 1 again. Then you use your Z Extra's other activate main to remove it from play and to play a 1-drop from the drop. So you play this 1-drop again. The 1-drop draws you another card, that's 5 already, and then you pay 1 and 1 Z energy. That's the only thing that you need to pay. 1 and 1 Z energy to play the Z Extra again. Because Z Extra's activate main isn't limit 1, it's once per turn. So you use it again, because this is a new copy of the card. You play the 1-drop from your hand. You have 2 different ones. One in the set which draws and one in the promos which draws and one in the set which tutors. So you play another 1-drop and you draw 1 again. So if you've had issues following, here is the result. For 1 energy and 1 Z energy, you just drew 6 cards. You drew 6. So assuming that you already have a Z Extra on the field where there's nothing in the game that can get rid of it, and that your Unison survived the 1 turn cycle, which is very possible with its permanent, you drew 6 cards for 1 energy. Yeah, and even if you have to pay for everything, let's say that your board is completely free, you paid 3 to draw 6. If you have to get, everything established from 0. As long as you have enough Z Extra cards in your Z deck, you can keep doing this combo each turn and then just fly through your deck. Like this is an insane draw power. Now let's take a look at boss monsters. Unfortunately, this is where, good things kind of start going down a bit. The boss monsters aren't the greatest. This guy is 30k. You play him for 1 energy. If you have 4 or more energy, he comes out very, very late. When you play him from hand, you KO one of your opponent's things. You get rid of, so auto basically place any number of face-up Boujack Brigade cards from your Z deck into your drop, and when this card attacks, choose up to one of your opponent's Unisons and remove a marker from it for each card that you have removed this way. If you remove 2 markers, it gets +5 and double. So worst case, it's pay 1, KO a card and play a 30k beater, and then if you get rid of 2 cards, he's 35k double. But then you need to kind of balance it because you also need face-up cards in the deck to play other things, and also to fuel your leader's ability to restand him. So there are ways to make this one stronger. One of the 1-drops when he dies gives it crit. So that's cool. So it's like 35k double crit. But it's not the best. The best thing about it is that it costs 8, which will be relevant later. The other boss monster is actually good. This one is much, much better. 30 double, immediately double. Okay, but you pay 2 to play him. But your opponent needs to have 3 or more energy, so you don't need to necessarily wait until your turn 4. And you draw 1 when you play him. Permanent. When this card would be removed from the battle area by an opponent's skill once per turn, you may place one face-up Boujack Brigade card from your Z deck into the drop instead. He has super protection. And now comes the craziest part. Auto, which isn't limit 1, which isn't once per turn. It's just always online. If this card is in rest mode, when an opponent's card other than their leader attacks, your opponent discards 1 from hand. Every time the opponent wants to attack with anything, they discard 1. This is insane. Like, the auto is a floodgate effect. So look at it like this. You either force your opponent to spend 2 cards or 2 triggers. Let's say that their field is empty, completely empty. They need to waste 2 cards which can remove something to kill Boujack. Because the first effect will just fizzle. So you already took 2 cards out of their hand. If they don't want to do that for whatever reason, if they just want to swing into anything, they have to pitch 1 from hand for every non-leader attack. This is really, really strong. We have a couple of 1-drops and the lineup is amazing. So the first one is draw 1, and when she's KO'd, one of your rater drops gets critical. The other one, tutors, has the same effect. Then Bujin is a free counter-attack, you just take a life. And the other Bujin is a free counterplay, where you just take a life instead of paying. The big important thing, one is missing, and that one is going to be crucial for the deck. There is a 1-drop promo which draws you a card. That's the first auto. I don't know what the second one is. I don't think that it's really super important. But the line draw a card is what you need. You will run that one in this deck. For the rest, well, they're kind of meh. They're kind of shit. I'm gonna be honest, they are kind of shit. The first Gokua is draw 1 and Z energy charge. You won't be really using that much Z energy. So it's just kind of pay 1, draw 1. Okay. The second one is actually the best one. Like, both of them are okay at best, but the second one is the really good one. For 1 energy, you draw 1, you play him, and then you play a 1-drop. So it's 1 energy, draw 2. And then if you use the unison to +1, that's draw 3 already. So he can be 1 energy, draw 3. That's amazing. Both Bojacks are shit. Both Bojacks are just shit. I'm not gonna even sugarcoat these, are just bad. One of them can become dual attacker with crit. The other one KOs a card and restands. Here's the problem. Both of them want you to KO a card. And considering how much you'll just be getting rid of shit very, very fast with your Unison's ability, with just comboing it away, with you just killing something to get your leader's effect going, to charge things face up into the Z deck, you won't really have a lot of things to just KO with something else. Especially when you need something in play to KO so that the leader can get plus 10k during your opponent's turn. So these ones are kinda shit. Like, the only good thing about them is that they cost 4, and this is the only reason why we'll be running them, because they help you go into Celzino. So Bojacks are really bad, Gokuas are alright. Overall, the rest of the archetype is just kinda meh. Here is the deck list, the link is in the description below. I'll take a couple of moments to go through it. First off, it's lacking a key component, which is the promo card, because once you get it, you will run 4 of it. You'll probably run it instead of the one that tutors. You'll find a way. The thing is, I don't believe that Boujack as an archetype is that good. I think if you take a deck, a green deck, which draws as much as Boujack does, you naturally play green good stuff. So you're playing the 1-drops because you need them. You're playing Gokua because you need a free cost and it's an extra draw and whatever. You play, unfortunately, 4 Boujack 4-drops if you want to go into Celzino. If you don't want to go into Celzino, I don't know why you wouldn't, then you just play something else. For the 8 drops, you play 3 of each SR, and then you just run the good stuff. You run 4 copies of Solidarity, you run 4 copies of the new Gogeta, because the 8 drops are 8 drops. And you can just accessory into them with Gogeta, that's amazing. Silzino is your boss monster, blah blah. I think you just transition into hand destruction from here. And the only maybe questionable choice that might have some of you scratching their heads is Dark Temptation Dowa. Why? Because when you use your leader's auto, you send 3 cards into your drop. You automatically fuel your Overwhelm. Then you go into Towa. Then your leader is 30k when he attacks. No, actually that's on the first attack he's 25, right? But then you go into Towa, he's baseline 20. So on the second attack you are baseline 20 and you pitched a card from your opponent's hand. You made them discard. This went long enough. Anyway, the deck list is in the description below. Let's jump into the game plan. In this part of the video I'm gonna show you your first 2 turns with Boujack. Boujack looks insane. Let's check out the game plan. We'll be showing you the first 2 turns with the deck. The start is pretty linear, so we'll show you only the first 2 turns so that you can set up properly and then you can take it from there. I firmly believe that you don't need more than 2 turns, but you absolutely need to know how to properly sequence your turn 2. Your turn 2 is one of the craziest turns that I have ever seen in this game, but you absolutely need to know how to execute it properly. We'll be using the provided deck list, and we're assuming that you're going first. Yarrrrharrr. Turn 1, the usual setup. This is your standard turn 1. So you start, you charge 1, you use your leader's activate main, you send, I don't know, something, let's say this war cost. You send him to the Z deck. You search top 5, you add a Boujack Brigade card to your hand, then you shuffle the deck and you pass the turn. The only important thing to note, listen to me, the only important thing is this: Z charge from your hand anyway. Just Z charge. And trust me, you will need that Z energy before you start really swinging next turn. Turn 2. Draw every card on the planet always and forever. Just take your deck and draw it. Just on this turn, you draw everything. We start. Charge 1, draw 1. Activate main. Send one of the 1-drops to the Z deck. Search top 5 and grab like another one. I don't know what you're gonna grab. Let's say you grab one of these. You shuffle the deck. Okay, so you just got 1 extra card in your hand. Pay 1 and 1 Z energy, the one that you have charged. Preferably, it's a 1-drop which it draws. Preferably. That's what it should be. You play the Unison. Then you attack with your leader. His auto triggers, you draw 1. Okay. You combo again, because you will need the other Z energy. You combo, let's say a 4-drop, whatever. You charge him into the Z energy. You pay 1 and 1 Z energy to play the field. Okay, now you have 2 face-up cards in your Z deck, so it's time to awaken, and that's basically what you do. You flip your leader and you awaken. So you awaken, you draw 1, you restand 1. Now it's time to start drawing. Activate main, play a 1-drop from hand, play the one that draws you, draw 1, leader's auto triggers, draw 1, use your Unison's +1, KO the 1-drop that you just played, draw 1, then activate main, the other one of the Z extra, remove it from the game, play a 1-drop, draw 1, pay 1 energy and 1 Z energy, play the Z extra again, activate main, play the 1-drop, auto triggers, draw 1, pay 1 energy, that's your last one, play Gokua, draw 1, his auto triggers, plays the one from the drop. That's why it's so important that you use a tutor or a cantrip when you charge your first Z energy, so that the last one can be in the drop when you play Gokua. Let's say you've played a cantrip here, so play, search top 5, add something to the hand, effectively draw 1, shuffle the deck, and then just attack and pass the turn. Let's see how many cards we drew on our awakening turn. 1 for the start, because yes, that always counts, because that's an extra card in hand. 2 from tutor effects, 2 from Leader's effects, 1 from the Unison, 1 from Awakening, 3 from the Z Extra, and 1 from Gokua. 11 cards. You drew 11 cards on turn 2, on the turn that you have awakened. And then every turn after, you just draw 6. Before we end the video, let's quickly jump into the summary. Boujack is insane. An actual tier 1 meta contender. Boujack is stupid broken. You draw like a madman, you draw like 11 cards on turn 2, and then 6 every turn after turn 2. So by turn 5 you draw like 29 cards. Now if you wish to draw, not to draw, but count the first draw that you get in the turn, then you draw 7, not 6, and that's blah blah 32 cards by turn 5. So yeah. Your leader and the Z cards are amazing. The boss monsters are great. The rest of the archetype is just lackluster. So we just play good stuff. It works much better as a generic green good stuff deck with some hand destruction, because that's the best mechanic in the game. Especially when you just drew 11 cards and then you just keep drawing 7 every single turn while your opponent is discarding shit. Like, yeah, then hand destruction is the best mechanic in the game. Try this one out. Trust me, the draw power that Boujack has is absurd. That's it for the video. Let me know in the comments below. Are you hyped to play Boujack? Have you already been trying Boujack out? Do you think that this is gonna be the next tier 1 deck? Or am I just crazy? Let me know in the comments. I read all of your comments. I try to respond to everything. I love our little community. And guys, while you're here, share the video, help other space pirates, hit those like and subscribe buttons, help us get to 6k subs, when Boujack is gonna give you a booster box that he just plundered from some fool, probably named Ivan, who said like, well, this is shit, it doesn't draw. So anyways guys, this is Damien from the Lowcut, and I'll see all of you in the next video.